everybody, it's Tiffany, and I completely forgot yesterday that I was supposed to do a product demo and talk a little bit about the scrap rack. So that's what I'm doing today. So I don't know how I forgot that. Yes, I do know it's not on my list of things to talk about, but I'm going to add it for the next challenge. So for those of you who are completely unfamiliar with the scrap rack, I'll give you the quick story, backstory on it. I designed the scrap rack because when I first started scrapbooking, I didn't have a craft room. I was a dining room table scrapbooker. I had little kids, you know how that is, and I had to constantly haul my things out and then put them back. And it was painful to do that. And I almost gave up scrapbooking because it was so much work to haul things out and put them back. And I had to solve my problem, and that's how the scrap rack was born. So the scrap rack allowed me to get everything organized in one place, and then I could literally pick it up, and I used to put it on top of my washer and dryer in the closet when I had to take it off the dining room table. But it just took me seconds to move my things around. I could serve dinner, I could get it away from the kids and all that stuff. So the scrap rack, I will give you the specs on it first. Steel base covered with commercial grade hook and loop fabric, which is glued down and also riveted down. The wings, there are two wings. They just pop up like this. There's no trick to them, and then they just drop into the slots on the side. The base itself, and I have mine sitting on my 12 by 12 rotating design board just so it's easier to move around for the demo. It sits on your desk at this nice angle right here, right? So you literally can flip through the sections on it. If you need more space than this allows, which is 7 or 8 notebooks worth of stuff, you can connect your scrap racks together. So to do that, you would just get a second base, an expansion base, set it next to your first one. Use this handy dandy little piece of fabric that has hook and loop on it, and then you just wrap the two together. So you can link your bases together pretty quickly and pretty easily. You have to do it when there's nothing on, well, you don't have to, but it's significantly easier if you do it with no spinders on your base. So one really important thing is when you set up your scrap rack, you want to see this solid metal panel in the back that has the ScrapRack.com embossed on it and the long piano style hinge on the top. A lot of people will set their base up this way, and when you look at the instructions on the box, we actually, oh, I still have my clip on there. We actually tell you to build it this way because you're going to put the hinges together and slide the connecting hook through the hinges this way. But then if you look at the next step in the instructions, it says turn it over. Also, there's 4 little rubber feet, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the base. So then you're going to turn it over like this before you start adding your spinders. Your scrap rack basic, your multi-craft is going to come with 7 3-ring sections. We call them spinders. That's the cross between the word binder and spine. They're standard 3-ring section, like standard notebook section. So anything that's got a standard 3-hole punch is going to fit on your scrap rack. Then they have a steel bar and then the loop side of hook and loop fabric, and that is how they stick on your scrap rack base. And they're really sticky on the scrap rack, right? So when you want to pull them off, you need to use something like a bone folder or kind of a blunt edged tool, and you want to put that blunt edged tool between the hook and loop fabric and just kind of peel it off like this into your hand. If you tug on the rings, you're going to damage the rings, and you're going to pull them open as well while you're tugging on them, and your pages are going to fall off. So you're going to get 7 with the scrap rack basic. I just have a couple here for the demo. One of the common questions people ask us is, how do I arrange my spinders on my scrap rack? What's the best way to do it? And there is no easy answer. There is no simple answer. While you're, excuse me, while you are setting up your scrap rack and you only have 1 or 2 or 3 spinders that have products on them, it's going to be best to keep them away from each other, right? As you fill up all 7 or 8 spinders, then it's going to be better to put them closer together and staggered so your loops are above and below with each as you place them, right? So what you're creating here as you load up your 3-ring sections is kind of the back of a book. So if you think about if you took a big book like a dictionary or something and you ripped a bunch of pages out, the book would be kind of wonky, right? So you want to create that solid back, and that's going to help you flip from section to section as you go. Okay. This is just one of our 12-inch magnetic rulers, and I just have it stuck on the wing of my scrap rack here because I use it all the time, and so it's easy to find when it's just stuck right there. Okay, so that's the scrap rack base, wings, spinders. Let's talk about how to set it up and the different scrap rack pages that we have available. So I'm going to swap this one out for the loaded scrap rack. Or is it better higher? Do you want me to leave it on the cart? Yeah? Okay. So this is a loaded scrap rack, and it is arranged in the 4-section system, right? Which is alphabets and numbers, themes and sentiments, holidays and seasons, and the rainbow. Now, the cool thing, or the coolest thing for me about the scrap rack is how easy and accessible it is to find anything that you need. So it doesn't matter what I'm going to sit down and work on. If I'm going to work on birthday, I'm just going to go to the themes and sentiments section. In the B section, I'm going to find all of my birthday things, right? So it's super easy while you're working, and it's really easy then again, obviously, when you're done to put things away, because if you have extra birthday things, you're just going to flip to the birthday section and put them back in the pockets. But it's also amazing when you buy something new, because when you come home from the store or you get that great box in the mail from HSN, you already know where you're going to store your things. If you look around your room, do you have little goodie bags of crafting supplies stuffed in corners, maybe still in the trunk of your car, under your desk, because you're not even sure where to put it? Well, when you're organized in the 4-section system, when something arrives at your doorstep or you bring something home from the store, you already know where it's going to go. So it's easy to put away, which means you're going to see it, you're going to remember that you have it, and then you're actually going to use it. So on so many levels, having your supplies visible and accessible is really key for getting the best use out of those supplies. So you can put up to 7 spinders on a base. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can put 8 or 9 spinders comfortably on a base unit. My good friend Merle France in the great state of Texas loaded her base unit with 11, which I don't recommend, but she did cram them all on there. So one of the important things is choosing different pages that are going to work for all of the different supplies that you have. And initially, when you're getting started, we're going to recommend that you try a variety pack or get a variety pack, because you're going to need all the pages to start with, but some pages are going to work better for the supplies that you use than others. So let's talk about pages, and I'm going to bring back my little empty rack here. The empty rack. And we'll go through the basic storage pages to start with. Now, the basic storage pages are all made of a lightweight food-grade plastic. One of the concerns people often have about pages is the weight of them, because they're not heavy, they're not super thick, but the pages are very, very durable. So in the now 16 years, or be 16 years in March, that we've been in business, I have never replaced a scrap rack page because it wore out, because it ripped. We have replaced scrap rack pages because of a manufacturing defect, or they weren't seamed properly, or the hole was punched off the side. But even though they're lightweight, they're incredibly durable. So let's go through each of the different designs. Now, all of the basic storage pages come in packs of 10 for $12. And then there are also variety packs with different configurations. So basic storage pages, the first one is the supersize single, and this is a 12.5 by 12.5 pocket. 12.5 by 12.5. So when you look at this piece of 12 by 12 paper, that actually has the big border on the top, so it's longer than 12 by 12, you can see how easily it slides in and out of that pocket. So a lot of times you'll buy something for organizing 12 by 12, and that thing is 12 by 12, so it's really hard to get things in and out of the pocket. Not the case with the ScrapRack pages. All of them, all the different page designs are 12.5 by 12.5, which means we have a little bit of space in every pocket configuration. So the 12 by 12, of course, is going to work for anything that's 12 by 12. So this is a layout that I did in a class. But I've never had the pictures to put on it. So I'm going to put it in my ScrapRack, and it's going to be, it's winter, so I'm just going to put that in the winter section of my ScrapRack. And then when I'm working on winter pictures, I'm going to see it. I'm going to remember that I have that blank layout, and hopefully I'm going to actually be able to use it. So if you're somebody who goes to crops and classes, makes these types of layouts without the pictures that go on them, because that's what they were teaching at the class, rather than stuffing them in a box or a bin or a file somewhere in your craft room, put them right into your 4-section system where they belong, and then you'll actually use them. The double extra long is two 12.5 by 6.25 pockets, so that's great for any long borders, thickers, stickers, anything like that is going to fit in there. And you can literally put not one or two things in a pocket, but you can literally put multiple items. So I recommend in each pocket anywhere from 3 to 6 items depending on what it is. But you can see in this pocket I've got about 8 different things, from chipboard sticker sheets to some die cut embellishments. So they really do, the pockets are going to hold a lot more than you think. The other thing is, you can see I've got this, the outside pocket loaded here. You always want to load your pockets first closest to the spinder, heaviest stuff closest to the spinder, working out to lighter stuff, and that'll help you keep your pockets from having that little bit of page sag, or in this case a lot of page sag. So maybe I should put my things, my stickers back in there real quick. I probably should have pulled out the pile from the opposite side. That would have helped. All right. Okay, here's the other thing. You're not supposed to open your spinders and load your pages from the inside. When you open the spinders, it's hard to keep your pages in place, and you're going to end up with things slipping off the ring. So don't do what I do, do what I say. Okay, this is the triple play page. So it's got 3 long border style pockets, little flap at the top, which I didn't mention before. Every one of the pockets has this little flap at the top, and that means you can close the flap over the top to help keep things in the pockets if you travel with your supplies. If you work at home all the time, you're always going to keep your pages on your scrap rack, you might want to just tuck that flap behind, and then it's easy to pull the products in and out of your pockets. So the triple play, great for borders, stickers, anything that's long and skinny, 4 inches by 12.5 inches. The Fabulous 4 page is 4 6 by 6 pockets. Again, they all have the flap on the top, and they're going to hold anything from 6 by 6 stickers, card making, you know, these are multiple, I think they say you're invited, card making supplies, cards, acrylic stamps. I've even got 6 by 6 stencils in here, and what I did with the stencils, I just created a little pocket, right? I just folded the paper, took a piece of paper and folded this little pocket at the bottom. And you know, if you use stencils, the little cutouts are constantly getting hung up on each other. Well, by just folding this piece of paper behind it, now I can store 2 stencils in a pocket. I can put them back to back like this. I used one of our Shut Your Flap labeling tabs to label what that was, and now when I put them into the scrap rack pocket, I can pull them in and out of there easily as well because of that little paper that's behind. So that's the Fabulous 4 and 4 6 by 6 pockets. The Fantastic 5 is 4 5 by 7 pockets and a little tiny cute pocket in the middle if you have a small embellishment that you want to put in there. But again, just perfect for scrapbooking supplies, and also 5 by 7 photos. Now you can see things on both sides. So when you're loading your scrap rack pages, put a few things facing forward and a few things facing backwards, and then when you flip the page, you're actually going to be able to see more of what you've got. The Perfect 6 page is 6 4x6 pockets, and it's ideal for so many things. There's just a ton of scrapbooking supplies that come in that 4x6 shape, but also there's a lot of 4x6 stamps, and what I've got in here is stamps and coordinating dies. I just put the dies that match these butterfly stamps right into one of our small stamp and die pockets, and I just slid them right into the pocket with the stamps. So now I've got my stamps and dies together. The Perfect 6 page, also amazing for pre-planning your 12x12 layouts. So what I do is I choose 6 pictures for each 12x12 layout that I'm going to do, and if I'm doing a double page spread, I'm going to put all 6 of the right side pictures, all 6 of the left side pictures, so I can plan out 3 double page spreads with the photos right here in the Perfect 6 page. You're going to learn more about that when we talk about photos in a couple of weeks in the Get Organized Challenge. So perfect for so many things, for craft supplies, but also great for photos. The Straight 8 is 8 long, narrow pockets, and these are great for bulky things as well as long, narrow things. But if you've got something big and bulky, I've got this entire alphabet. It's probably 35 or 40 little plastic alphabet pieces. I just put them into this long, this is a 2x5 or 3x5 Ziploc bag, and now I can slide them into the pocket, and I can see them and I can use them. They're visual, they're accessible, right? These came in a plastic box, and if I couldn't figure out a way to get them in the scrap rack, I would have had to remember that I had them and then where I put that plastic box. So anything like that, whether it's glitter, alphabet letters, beads, brads, eyelets, any of those things, they're all going to fit perfectly. Just put them in a Ziploc bag and put them into one of the pockets. I also used this Straight 8 page for red rubber stamps. So you can see each of the stamps here. And this side, you know, they're marked, some of them, and some of them are not, but you can see on the other side what they are. But it's a great way to store unmounted stamps as well. The red rubber has a little bit of that clinginess to it, so they stick right in the pockets. This is the Trader's 12 page, and it's obviously 12 pockets. You probably have picked up the theme here that a lot of our pages have the number of pockets, the Perfect 6, the Trader's 12, right in with the page name. So these are 3x4 inch pockets. We started this page design for artist trading cards, which are this dimension, but again, it works for so many different scrapbooking supplies. So here are just a bunch of travel themed chipboard embellishments and some other sort of ephemera type embellishments. But the 12x12, the Trader's 12 page, is great for all kinds of small embellishments as well. So that is the extent of the basic storage pages. Now we are bringing back, which you will see in February, the Simply Squared page, back by popular demand, and that is 9 square pockets. So they are 4x4. 9 square pockets on a page. So that's the end of basic storage. Next up we have our double-sided duo page. So the double-sided duo has smaller pockets on the front and a 12x12 pocket on the back, right? So this one is 6.5 by 12.5 pockets on the front, 2 of them, and then the 12x12 on the back. So perfect for borders, stickers, scraps, things that all go together. So you can see I have this camping collection all together. On the back side, I've got the 12x12 camping stickers. So the double-sided duos are a great way to put everything together by collection, or if you're pre-planning something, to put that pre-planned together. So this is the 2x1. It's called the 2x1. It has 2 pockets on the front, 1 on the back. This is the 4x1, and it has 4 pockets on the front and then 1 pocket on the back. All right, I'm just going to take a quick stop here and grab a cough drop so I don't have to cough at you guys the rest of the presentation. So 4x1, awesome for keeping small collections of products together, right? St. Patrick's Day, don't have a ton of stuff for St. Patrick's Day. Die cut, a few stickers, some rub-ons, and then some paper. It's all there in one page in the double-sided duo 4x1. So the double-sided duos come, again, 10 per package. They're $17.50 for the 10, but it's almost like getting 20 pages, right? Because you have the pockets on the front and the pocket on the back. So a little bit less expensive than buying 20 pages, but you still get 20 pages worth of storage. Okay, so those are the basic storage pages. Let me pop this off here, and then I will take you through our specialty storage pages. We're going to start with, this is the Flippin storage page. Now, the Flippin storage page has this little flap on the front, and it attaches to this flap, and that's what keeps your pages from not flipping out when you're flipping through. So you want to just lock that down, and now your flippers are going to stay where they belong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4x6 pockets on the top, 5 5x7 pockets on the bottom. So this was designed specifically with card making and stamping in mind, but it's perfect for scrapbooking as well, which happens so often when we design something we figure out, oh, it works for all these other things. But 4x6 embossing folders, 5x7 embossing folders, unmounted stamps, dies, cards, card blanks, it's all going to fit in the Flippin storage page. Let's take a look at an example. So I have this one loaded up with everything from a road trip that I went on with my husband. So all the different stickers and things that I purchased when I'm going to work on that road trip, everything's right here in the Flippin storage page, and I can just flip through and choose the items that I want. So it's super easy. And then if you know me, you know I love washi tape, so I put it everywhere I can. So all of the things in here are themed America. It was a USA road trip, and so I just used a couple pieces of my favorite washi tape right there, and it kind of pops out now when it's in my travel section of my ScrapRack. So that's the Flippin storage page. It comes in, you get 3 Flippin storage pages per pack. Next up is just a great product. This has been around forever. This is a side loader single. So the side loader single comes in a pack of 5, and it's a 12.5 by 12.5 pocket that loads in and out from the side instead of from the top. So it's a great, when you're sitting down, it makes it easy to pull things in and out the side rather than up and down from the top. But it also is made of a heavier, denser plastic, so it gives your scrap rack a little bit of stability. So it's a great way to store specialty papers like this glitter paper or collections of paper, add a little bit of stability to the pages in your scrap rack, but also it's just a little bit more rigid and a little bit more durable. So it's a great add. So you can see in this pocket, in this one, I have an entire collection, right? So this is called the Destinations collection. It's got, I don't know, countless pieces in there, but it's got frames and paper and stickers and all that stuff. So rather than taking this all apart and spreading it out into multiple pockets, until I use it, until I start working with it, I'm just going to slide the whole thing right into a side loader single, and then the little flap on the side just is going to tuck in, not on the outside. You want to tuck it on the inside, and that's going to hold your products in. And now I've got all that, I can put it right in my travel section. When I'm ready to use it or I take it apart, I might put it into the smaller pocket pages depending on how much I use of it. Next is the embellishment storage page, and this is, again, the heavier, denser plastic. It has 12 pockets on the front and 12 pockets on the back. It's going to come with, there's 3 of these per pack, and you're going to get 72 small 2x2 Ziploc bags with the embellishment storage page, and that's for use with brads, eyelets, glitter, anything like that that you want to corral into a small bag and then pop into one of the pockets. These pockets also have a locking tab on the front. So you're going to be able to put heavy things in there and then lock it down. This is great for scrapbooking. It's also amazing for jewelry making. So if you're a jewelry maker and you're looking for the perfect way to combine and conquer all those little beads and findings and that type of thing and still have them portable, this is a great option as well. I've got it loaded up here with chipboard alphabets, and then again some buttons on the back, but it's a super versatile page. It's a little bit narrower than the rest of our pages, and that's just because it gets so heavy with what you can put in there that if we had extended it out one more section, it would just be way too heavy. Next up is the project planner, or expanding project planner, and this pocket has also locking flaps on it, or this page has locking flaps. It's got, it really gussets out on the side. So the idea behind this is putting everything you need for a project into one easy to find, easy to use page, great for memento storage. I actually travel with one of these empty, and then as I collect things, as I'm traveling, I just stuff them into the pockets, and then when I bring it home, it's ready to go into storage until I'm going to scrap that particular event. You've got 3 pockets on the front, and you've got a big 12 by 12 pocket on the back, and then you've also got a bigger than 12 by 12 pocket in the middle. So it's perfect for storing everything, project planning, getting all your things together. Awesome for mixed media. I just did a little mixed media album, and I was able to keep everything in here, including the little chipboard album as well. So here's what it looks like loaded up, and you can see this is all from a trip that I took with my mom. Well, let's just see how much stuff we've got in here. So you can see I've got photos, I've got my little journal from the cruise, I've got my boarding passes, my little thing that they give you on the cruise so you can get everywhere, ticket stubs, all kinds of stuff. So it's a chunky little pile, and it fits with no problem right into the pocket. So everything's together in one super easy to use, easy to find place. Okay, so that covers all of the storage pages. I'm going to bring back my bigger rack here, and we're going to talk about a few other things that the ScrapRack that work great with the ScrapRack. And the first one is travel. So if you are someone who enjoys going to crops, classes, and events, you know that packing up for that event can be overwhelming, cumbersome, tiring, exhausting, time-sucking, or if you're using a ScrapRack, it can be really easy. So if you're going to an evening event, right, you're just going to be working for a couple of hours, you know what you're working on. This is our canvas craft binder, and you'll notice on the inside it has this big wide piece of hook fabric. It's got a big 12 by 12 pocket on this side, and then pockets on this side for basic tools and supplies, and it makes it so easy. My blunt-edged instrument here. So if I'm going to go and I'm going to work on birthday, I'm going to just take the birthday section off my ScrapRack, and now I've got everything I need to work on birthday. And then I might take my rainbow section, or 1 or 2 of them, because I can take up to 3 sections in the craft binder. Now I'm just going to close it up, zip it up. It comes with a shoulder strap. This front pocket is going to hold my paper trimmer, and I'm able to get out the door quickly and easily with everything I need to work on a project for an evening, right? So super simple way to travel with just a few things. We also have a smaller binder. This is just a 12 by 12 craft binder. So if you're thinking, I need to kind of ease into the ScrapRack way of doing things, this is going to hold 1 3-ring section, right? So if you want to start with a 4-section system in just a small binder, start with the 12 by 12 craft binder, add a variety pack of 16 pages and some dividers, and you can get started really simply and really easily. And one of the beautiful things about all the ScrapRack products is the way they all work together. So if you start with binders and then you decide, yeah, I really do need a ScrapRack base, I want to be able to flip and find everything in my craft supply collection, you can take whatever you've purchased in the binder, pull that 3-ring section out, and just add it to your ScrapRack. So you don't have to change everything, you don't have to rearrange everything, and then you just keep the 12 by 12 craft binder cover, so when you're traveling with 1 or 2 or 3 sections, you can just use your craft binder covers to make that happen. So it makes it really simple to get started with the ScrapRack system and then kind of grow into the next level of it. All right, what have I missed? If you have any questions, Karen's kind of... Oh, Karen has questions. I have questions.
First one was, where do you put it? If you want to talk about like the footprint that it takes up and what it can
Oh.
sit on.
Perfect. Can you really quickly go into the studio next door and grab the rolling, there's rolling crate, I think it's up against this wall. So the footprint of the ScrapRack, 13 inches deep by 15 inches. That's what it needs to sit on. Literally, you could take a ScrapRack and set it on a TV tray, as long as you've got wings, 11 inches, as long as you got space on either side, 11 inches, for those wings, which we call, to overhang. But that's all it takes. So imagine 7, 8, or 9 notebooks full of stuff at your fingertips, just easy to get to, easy to use everything, very visual in that small space. So Karen has sort of coined this phrase, or not sort of, she did coin the phrase years ago, the ScrapRack makes room for itself. So when you start to empty your boxes, your bins, your totes, your drawers, all of those other things you have into a ScrapRack, you will be shocked and amazed at how much stuff you can get in the space of a ScrapRack, and then stack up those boxes, bins, drawers, and totes. How much space did those take up? Because when you're using those types of tools, you have a lot of airspace around them, inside them. And with the ScrapRack, there is no airspace. Every inch of your ScrapRack can be filled with scrapbooking, crafting supplies. So, 13 by 15. It fits perfectly on an IKEA Kallax or Expedit 4-cube system, and if you're just getting started or you're thinking about redoing your room, the Kallax or Expedit is awesome. The 4-cube system is, I think it's $39. It gives you a place for your ScrapRack, and then those cubes are big enough to hold 12 by 12 paper, so really easy to max out the cube space as well, which is what I'm all about. It also will sit on, let me put this up here real quickly. For those of you who have our crop crate, or are thinking about a crop crate, make things here. The ScrapRack will actually sit on the lid of a crop crate. So if you like to go to events, your ScrapRack, you can take all the sections off of it, stand them up inside the crop crate, and when you get to the event, put your ScrapRack back together and set it on top of the crop crate, and it will then be sitting right next to you at the table, so you will literally be able to look down and flip through everything in your ScrapRack and use things and choose things and take things out and put things away and share things, and any of the new things that you buy at the event you'll be able to put away quickly and easily. Super simple. And then you just pack it all up inside the crop crate and wheel it home, and you're good to go. Next question.
You can also sell a travel base that's just a base and wing.
Oh, for people who travel all the time and have multiple ScrapRacks, and you don't want to take your sections apart, you can also purchase what we call is a travel base, and that's just the base, no spinders, and the wings, and then you can store that right in your crop crate, and then just take the sections off your ScrapRack, put them in the crop crate, and out the door you go. So there's a lot of flexibility for it if you like to travel with your supplies as well.
It doesn't fit in the Laura, correct?
It does not fit in the Laura.
They're also asking how much you can fit in a super single and a side loader single.
You can actually fit the same amount in a super single and a side loader single. 10 sheets of cardstock, 20 sheets of paper. So it's just a personal preference thing. The dividers, let's talk about dividers, which I neglected to mention. So the dividers come in sets of 5, and the dividers give your pages and sections stability, right? So they protect the edges and the corners. They obviously allow you to label and tag things easily, but they also provide a level of stability for each section of your ScrapRack. So the side loader single, because it's heavier plastic, just adds another layer of sort of stability in between your regular pages. But it's a total personal preference. Some people love the I keep wanting to say P51, which is the number for the side loader single. They love the way it loads in and out, but you can do the same job with the super size single, a little bit less expensive.
Someone was having trouble getting 3 spinders into the craft binder. Do they actually kind of go beyond the Velcro on the spine to do that, or?
It just depends. So the question is, you can put 3 spinders into the craft binder, and obviously that is going to depend on how loaded your spinders are, which I should also talk about really quickly. So if you have really heavily loaded spinders, you're obviously going to be able to get a little less of them into your binder versus less loaded spinders. So when you load your spinders, and this one's overloaded, so it's probably a good example. When you load your spinders, you should be able to pop your spinder open with nothing popping off. This one's definitely going to pop off.
With everything on one side.
With everything on one side, yep. So when you put your spinders flat on the table, you should be able to open your spinder without anything popping off. Occasionally, dividers are a little bit heavier and bulkier. You may lose one divider, may pop off, and you're still okay. But if you open your spinder and things pop off, then your spinder is overloaded. So that's kind of the hallmark for it. You can overload your spinders. Lots of people do. When you overload your spinders, obviously you're going to get less of them into the craft binder when you're traveling with them. You know, it's pretty beefy, but there is a limit. So let's talk about people who overload their spinders and sort of a little bit of a solution for spinder overload. So when you overload your spinders and you put them on your scrap rack, you're going to get all this weight on them, right? So you may experience a little bit of opening, gapping on your rings. And generally it's the top ring where that gapping happens. So we have these little guys called, I don't know if you can see, can you see them on the table or even, no? Okay, so these are called spinder sleeves, and a set of spinder sleeves is 2 longs and a short. I had a packet, oh there, it's on the floor. They come like this. So you get enough to do 7 rings, which is generally for the top set of rings. And each set is 2 longs and a short. I'm going to give you a little trick here for putting them on. They are plastic tubing, and so they're kind of tough to get on. But if you take some liquid soap and just put a little liquid soap on it, get a paper towel to wipe your hands on, then, and you probably need your glasses. I'm going to try this without my glasses. Oh yeah, got it. I got it. Then they just slide on really easily, and the soap just gets pushed out the end, right? So it's easy to wipe the soap off of the spinder. Of course, you want to do this with nothing on your spinders, right? So you're going to put the 1 long on each side, right? Slide that on, and then the short goes in the middle. And then when you close up your spinder, you're just going to guide, now I'm definitely going to have to put on my glasses. You're going to guide the spinder ring into that second hole. So you're going to load up everything in your spinder, right? And then you're going to close it up, slide that over, and then you're going to close it up, just guide that in, again with the glasses, right? And so now what you've created is a smooth section right there, so that the little gap in your rings, even if your spinders are overloaded, your pages are not going to slip out. So again, if you're somebody who's really got your scrap rack loaded up, you're going to be able to use the spinder sleeves to kind of seal that ring. And then when you want to use it again, you're just going to open it up, and you can either take the small one off or just load to the opposite side. I guess you'd load this way too. You just have a little bit longer reach there. But it's a super simple way to kind of close the gap And then, as I said, you want to just wipe that soap off that pushed out so you don't get it everywhere. But there you go. That's how to use the Spinder sleeves to close the gap on your Spinders. All right, Karen, any other questions?
No, it looks like it just froze up or something, did it? Oh, okay, that was weird.
Woo.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, so I think we answered all the questions. You know, you can always email us, customer service at totally-tiffany.com. We're happy to answer individual questions. If you're part of our Get Organized Challenge Facebook group or you follow us on Facebook, you can also ask questions there. We're happy to answer that way as well. We're a little bit slower on the messenger. So if you're sending us stuff via messenger, it's a little bit harder for us to get to. So definitely please use either customer service at totally-tiffany.com or just on the regular Facebook page, ask a question and we'll get right back to you. So thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm sorry that I didn't get the presentation done yesterday after class. And for those of you who are part of the Get Organized Challenge, I'll see you next Tuesday.